Hey guys, and welcome back to northern Sweden. I've made quite a few videos from this part of Sweden the past few weeks because this is the second time I am here in a week now. We are almost where we were last week with Polestar, which was a place called Jokkmokk. We're now in Harads at the big winter drive with Volvo, and today we're going to be driving some of these really cool cars. They have Volvo EX30s for us, they have rear wheel drive, they have twin performance versions, and yeah, behind me you can see we have this lake here with a track carved into the ice, and we're going to get to drive on a few tracks, a few courses, and get to test out these cars as well as the new Volvo EX40, which is the new updated version we have over here, which is a really cool black version. So here they have two of the new Volvo EX40s, which is kind of only a rebadging to make the whole lineup now more harmonious. We have the EX90, we now have the EX40, and then we of course have the EX30. But these are not only updated in names, they also have now more performance. So 442 horsepower versus the old one with 408 horsepower. So yeah, this should be really cool to test these on ice and use them as a benchmark for the Volvo EX30s, which we have been able to drive now for a few days on the country roads up here in northern Sweden. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty cool video. So let's just hop into one of these cars and check out how they perform on ice. Before we continue this video, I just want to give a huge thanks to Zaptec with their Zaptec Go for sponsoring today's video. The Zaptec Go is a small, cool, and stylish home charger that can charge up to 22 kilowatts and will work with every electric car on the market, including a Tesla. The Zaptec Go is so good, it actually won Best in Test in the Norwegian Automobile Association's test of chargers in 2022. So if you want to support the channel, if you want one of the best chargers on the market, go to the link down below, find your country, click on the link and purchase one from there. We're starting this day driving the old Volvo, or the new Volvo, or the oldest car here. This is, as I said in the intro, the EX40, which is now basically just an upgraded version of the XC40 with a new badge and also more power, 442 horsepower. So this should be a little bit more powerful than the EX30. But this is more of the old Volvo philosophy where you're not allowed to turn off ESC completely. With the new car, you're not allowed to turn it off completely either, but this car doesn't have an offsetting at all, where the new car, the EX30, does have an offsetting, which won't let you turn it off completely, but it lets you play a lot more, and we'll see that in a little bit later in this video. But this actually does let you slide a little bit, but it doesn't let you have fun. Into its corner, it will actually, just let you slide and rotate a little bit. It's nice, really good at, actually just rotating the car off throttle. But if you want to have any type of fun, as fast as you go on the throttle, it just completely limits the power. Like going on throttle there gives a little bit of a push, but if you do that when you're turning, you just hear, there's like a relay somewhere behind the dashboard here, which just goes click, 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 click. You see the traction control light, flashing, and you're not allowed to do anything. But it is still nice and positive to drive. It does feel safe. It's a little bit fun, but it also feels very restricted and held back. I've driven the EX30 on this track here quite a few times now, and it's just more eager to turn. It's just more positive. It's just a much more playful thing to drive. Like in this turn here, this 90-degree turn, if you go on throttle, it builds up speed quickly, this car, but it's not fun. It's safe, but I have to say the steering weighting, I don't know, maybe I prefer the steering in this car to, the steering in the EX30 or EX40, which this car is surprisingly good. Maybe even a little bit better than that EX30. My God, these names are a little bit confusing. Also, brake feel is nicer in this car. Just feels firmer. But let's go in here. This car just wants to push. This car just wants to push. It seems like pushing wide is this car's default. where the EX30 is just a little bit more playful. But let's go here on the quick part of the track. And this just doesn't feel as confidence inspiring as, no, just pushes, my God. The EX30 would actually rotate there and go around the turn. This just pushes wide. So it's completely different philosophy to drive. That car seems to be inherently better tuned, more sporty tuned, like the underlying car, with the ESC just there to help you, to guide you, to assist you, where this car just seems to be tuned in a completely different way to work with the ESC all the time. And once you just go a little bit past that limit and you want a little bit more power, you want to play a little bit more, it just won't let you, because the car just isn't tuned like that inherently in the suspension setup. I mean, we can carry decent speed here, but once it just understeers. It just understeers, and it just, you don't get it. With the EX30, you get into a rhythm. With this car, you don't. And that's the big difference. I really like the way the new EX30 drives. And I say new car and old car. In that sense, I'm just referring to, you know, an older car and this being a new car. The EX40 doesn't replace this car. They're not competitors, but it's just interesting to see a different direction for Volvo dynamically. It is really welcome, and I like that a lot. Okay guys, so you saw what the EX40 was like to drive. Now we're gonna see where Volvo have been for many years when it comes to driving dynamics and their philosophy when it comes to ESC and stability control, traction control, and all those systems there, because this car really surprises. Because where that EX30 really restricts you, you can't turn off any of the safety aids, this car actually has an ESC off setting, which really isn't off, but it does let you play a lot more. I'm just gonna adjust the steering seat a little bit closer, but as you guys can see here, it's letting me slip. It's not intervening. As long as they don't have too much steering angle, then the car will actually let me play. It will let me just slide from side to side here. This is a handling course we're on now, which is the biggest one they've made, which is 3.7 kilometers long with 75 turns. And there we went a little bit too wide. It's so easy in this car to get a little bit too hot and then get too hot into a corner, and then it will actually, well, that's the limitations of this ESC system, where it actually will just push a little bit wide. But it will actually let you have a little bit of steering angle. A week ago, I was, as I said, in about an hour up the road here in Jokkmokk with Polestar, driving the Polestar 3, and that car would just let you go completely sideways. This car will, like that, but if you have a little bit too much steering angle, the car will actually reduce the power, like there. Just my foot is to the floor and nothing really happens. But like this amount of like drifting, that old car, the EC40 or EX40, whatever they call it, XC40, it has had so many different names, does not let you play. So that was a little bit of naughty driving. Let's get a little bit in line here and try to be efficient and smooth and see what this car will let you do. Here also, 90-degree turn. I open up the throttle, but really nothing is happening. It will let a little bit of slip, and then once the car, you know, just regains grip and it's straight, you can actually put the pedal to the floor and it will actually put power down. But it is very restrictive. But we also got to drive the rear-wheel drive version of this car, which I'm not going to feature on video because it isn't even close to being as much fun as this car. This car is so much more playful. Rear-wheel drive version just limits power completely. This is a really wide turn here. Go watch Christian's video, Volvo Kiss Down. He actually went off twice here. So that's why I'm going slow here now. This is the fast part of the track. So first we have a little bit of a few sweepers here. We're doing 90 kilometers an hour on ice. We're on some Michelin X Ice North studded winter tires. This is a hard turn, but once we go past this turn here, we actually have some of these quick sweepers, and then we can do proper rallying. Oh, this also is a little bit tight, this turn here. Just try to be smooth, Apply the throttle slowly. We hit a few cones, but that's like the name of the game. And this section here, this is the fast section. You can really feel that suspension working. We have to brake there. We're going a little bit too fast. We're doing a rally here, but we're going side to side. Like the momentum of the car, the setup of the suspension is so impressive. The way it just, you know, is so positive. The way it turns, wants to, you know, move its mass, and also the steering. Like, I mean, this isn't like as nice steering as we had in that Polestar 3 a week ago, but it actually really nice and positive steering for being a Volvo. There, getting a little bit too much of a slide. The car just restricts the power. I think the way they tuned this ESC system is once you have a little bit too much angle, the car detects that and it's like, this is not good. I'm not gonna let that happen. And then it actually restricts the power, which is actually really nice. But that's something you have to be aware of. It's not only the yaw, like the angle of the car, but also the steering angle, which is pretty interesting. So I want to go another trip now, just a quick round if we have time. We have about 35 minutes left for this day, and yeah, just do another lap. So just for fun, let's just do another round. This car is actually really fun to drive, and I'm surprised because it actually has really short wheelbase of 2.65 meters, which actually gives it like this sporty setup without, you know, having harsh suspension. It's really positive to turn its mass. And like on this section here, which really is the slow section, it actually likes to do these sweeps side to side. We're doing about 60 65 kilometers an hour, and then it's easy to get a little bit too hot because this truck actually, the angles of the turns here aren't the same throughout, and suddenly it tightens up a little bit, and then it opens up here, and then you can apply the throttle. But it's really positive to change direction. I'm just really impressed by the way this EX40, my God, I can't even talk, EX30 drives. This is an EX30 twin performance, but also here, once you get a little bit of that, you know, rear going out from side to side, it actually lets you have a little bit of fun. It is actually really fun, and then you don't want to go too wide, and then just back off a little bit. You can easily regain control. I could do this all day. We've been here with instructors telling us where to go quickly, where to go slowly, but we've actually been able to just be completely alone in the car today, which is really nice. This was not something I was able to do with Polestar last week, but I was driving a prototype, like an early prototype last week with Chief Test Engineer Joachim Rydholm, which is really fun. So go check those videos out. But here it actually lets you play a little bit, but I just wish it didn't restrict the power as much as it does, because sometimes you just want a little bit of power oversteer out of a corner, and the car just doesn't let you do that, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I mean, for what it is, from like Volvos of the past, oh, they were actually proper going off-road. From where Volvo have been in the past few years, this is moving in the right direction. They're moving in the fun direction where they're letting the car just be playful. The setup, it's rear, you know, bias now when it comes to the drivetrain. The steering is positive. It feels quick. It feels light. There's nice feedback, and the car actually, you know, lets you rotate. It lets you slide a little bit, have a little bit of fun. But if you go really wide, it actually catches you. So like, you can have fun without it being unsafe. But yeah, let's see what kind of speed we can get here through the quick sweepers over here. Getting a little bit too messy. I want a little bit of a tighter line. So let's see if we concentrate here a little bit. Okay, so we're going 85, 90. We have to brake here, and then, yeah. We're going over the cone, 85 kilometers an hour, and then, but it's so controllable. But they're slippery. They're actually slippery. There we hit a patch of ice. Actually hit a patch of ice going a little bit too fast, and Christian here's laughing to my side here because that would have been a big crash if, yeah, now we're just drifting. Now we're just having fun. Okay, now we're having a little bit too much fun, but that would have been a big crash if there was oncoming traffic. So we're on a closed circuit here. This is a track, and we've been with instructors, and I've done this a few times now. This is like my third ice driving on a track the past 3 weeks. So don't do this at home, guys. Don't do this at home. But yeah, really good fun. So there we go, guys. That was a whole day of ice driving up here in northern Sweden in the Arctic Circle. This is my last video from this part of the world for this winter, I think. Maybe I'll go back here for something else if I get invited, but This day was all about the EX30 on ice, and I have to say I am very impressed by the way this car drives on road and now on an ice lake. I've done a first impressions video, which I did yesterday, so check that video out. And also I have 2 of these on loan the upcoming weeks in Norway. I'm gonna do my proper testing, range test, long trip test, charging test, and a full review. So if you don't want to miss out on the upcoming videos, you have to press that subscribe button down below and also sound that notification bell. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys there and goodbye.